Actually, I was wondering, like, if you had a Chinese whore, would you just call her a chore?
I don't.
Or a Chinor?
Parental discretion is advised.
Presents the HardCast.
It's time for another honorably disciplined episode of the HardCast. I'm your host, Chris, and today I'm joined by Patrick.
Hello.
Tonight's review/discussion is about the 1981 Shaw Brothers film Marshall Club, aka directed by Lau Kar Leung, starring Gordon Lui, Kara Hui, and Robert Mack. Marshall Club is the story of rival schools, friendship, loyalty, discipline, honor,
kung fu treachery,
and respect. So Patrick, did Marshall Club teach you that reconciliation and mutual respect are sometimes preferable to violence? Or did you end up feeling like you had been tied up at a Chinese brothel and beaten with wooden clubs while the whores watched?
I don't feel like I'm tied up. I didn't think the movie was bad. You know, not like, oh my god, they took a stick and broke my fucking leg bad, like what they did to him.
I don't know, I thought it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was up there in terms of kung fu movies. If you're looking for a kung fu movie that's long, this is it. If you're looking for a kung fu movie...
Well, for a Shaw Brother movie, because
Yes.
Shaw Brother movies are like 80 minutes, and then this one was 107 minutes, so for Shaw Brother standards, it's long, yeah. But it's not Red Cliff long, though.
Notorious for cutting things, and cutting so much they cut the ending.
The super abrupt endings.
What the fuck just happened ending? Like, who won? Nobody knows.
Oh, he just crushed his skull. The end.
Yeah, I know, the end is like, who crushed whose skull? You don't know, because they all look the same. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Back to this movie. Of course, we have Wong Fei-hung, played by Gordon Lui. Great kung fu martial artist.
Well, just a standard Shaw Brothers guy, just like Danny Lee and all the others. He's been in a shitload of Shaw Brother movies, and he's worked with Lau Kar Leung quite a few times as well.
You have to have Wong Fei-hung.
He's the standard Chinese hero in every Chinese martial arts movie. I mean, even Jet Li's been Wong Fei-hung. Everyone's been Wong Fei-hung at one point. Every decade, there's a million Wong Fei-hung movies.
That was show him to represent, as a young man, he was brash, and then it shows him becoming a man and becoming a true martial artist. And
although it was kind of abrupt in the movie. One minute he's a
douchebag.
Yeah, douchebag, and then the next minute he's like, oh, I have to take this serious.
That was a little bit weird. So the story starts off with Wong Fei-hung's friend, who's in a lion's head. Now, I always said they were dragon's heads or whatever, or tiger's heads, or whatever you want to say. But
or
I
Pekingese.
I think they're just Shih Tzu dogs, really. I mean, they look like our dog, right? Sushi.
Look like Japanese chins. It's a Chinese movie, though.
So he's in the costume, and it's very elaborate. I mean, there's like 4 layers of guys or something under him, or 3?
Yeah, they're each holding a platform, and then on top of that platform is a bunch of guys holding another platform, and on top of that platform is, it's just crazy. And then you at the top, you got the guy in the lion outfit, and then you got a guy who's the tail, who's up on a big pole, and he's just rippling the tail to make it look like it's moving. It's just like really elaborate, crazy shit.
He's just sitting on that pole and wagging that tail. I keep thinking to myself, I heard pointing out, like, his arms must be getting tired or something. You saw, like, he didn't even put the tail on top of his head. He's supposed to be underneath the tail. He's supposed to become the tail. He's just waving his arms around like...
I think it's taking all his concentration not to fall off that freaking pole or get impaled by it.
He was already impaled. Maybe he was signaling, help me.
Yeah, he's waving. He's like, I can't, help me.
My ass.
Bamboo and anus.
Splinters. So, like any contest, there's usually money involved. I've seen in other movies where...
Respect and honor as well, Patrick.
Respect. Yeah, face. It's all about the face. You're not getting hit in the face. What people think of your face.
Exactly.
They always show the lions or the dragons eat the prize, basically. The prize in this case is money, so it's pretty elaborate. The beginning's pretty elaborate, and one of the main characters, who is Wong Fei-hung's friend, which... What's his name, Chris?
I think his name is, let me see, Zhu Ying's brother. That's his name.
Zhu Ying's brother. Let's call him douche number 1. How about that? And, he's, of course, just checking out the girls, and he's throwing the money down there, and he's, like, putting it back, and he's, like, winking at them.
We have to say, too, that the school that he represents has won, I guess, like 3 or 4 years in a row, this contest. Although, in the beginning of the movie, it just seems like there's one school going for this contest, because we only see them towards the end when they're actually about to grab the prizes, when the other school shows up and just kind of takes it, and that's when the rivalry becomes known to everyone.
Yeah, because the school's new. Not new in the sense that Kung Fu, but they're new to the whole lion dance. And they break all the rules, which is, one of them is blinking repeatedly, or lifting the leg, or sniffing the behind. And they break every rule, which they explain in the beginning of the movie. On a quite elaborate white set.
And I have to say that all this stuff in the beginning with the lion dance is, for me, like the most boring part of the movie. Even though it's really elaborate and they put a lot of work and effort into it, it goes on and on and on, and I'm just waiting for like the actual story to start.
The old man who was talking, who narrating, he's not even in the movie.
Oh, Lau Kar Leung?
Yeah.
Yeah, the director. Because you see him in the very beginning in the credits, and then that's it.
Explaining all the rules. And then that's it. Kind of hoping he would be in the movie. There's a big fight, and of course everybody swore about it.
There's a lot of well-known faces in this movie playing roles that they don't normally play. Like, a lot of guys who normally play bad guys in this movie are not necessarily bad guys. And they're either neutral, or they're good, or they're kind of gray. Go back and forth because they don't really know what's going on. But the thing with Lau Kar Leung movies is that there's usually a lot of slapstick, a lot of humor. And to be honest, it's very hit or miss. There was a lot of really good stuff in this movie, especially the fight scenes. But I think the comedy was kind of off on some of it. I mean, some of it was okay. In the beginning, you do see Wang Fei-hung and his friend are always competing with each other. You could tell, like, they're really good friends. And they really like each other. And they come from different schools. Their parents, their fathers, are actually the teachers or the masters of those schools. And they're friends with each other as well. So everyone kind of gets along, except for the rival school. Wang Fei-hung and his friend are always trying to one-up each other when it comes to martial arts and kung fu. In the beginning, remember when they go out and they actually say, let's not fight each other to see who's better. Let's pay some people and we'll fight them and we'll see who can beat their opponent first, and then that will be the guy who's better. And it's like, yeah, we'll do it in 6 blows. They pay these guys, and then they fight them, and of course they're equal, 6 blows. It becomes a bit of a running gag in the movie, and it actually gets them in trouble later on because this stranger comes into town, this northerner, who is Master Shan, played by a guy who almost always plays bad guys. He shows up, and he's kind of a country bumpkin, doesn't know what's going on, doesn't really understand Cantonese. Wang Fei-hung's friend has a sister who was also really big into martial arts. She's played by Kara Hui, who's been in a shitload of martial arts movies, especially Shaw Brothers stuff. She pays him to take a fall when he fights Wang Fei-hung's friend.
Which is a mistake because he, being from the north, speaking Mandarin, doesn't understand what the fuck she's saying.
He's just like, oh, people are just coming up to me giving me money and like grabbing my jade necklace, and that's it. And then this is a weird place. Like, Cantonese people are fucking weird. So Wang Fei-hung's other friend, who comes from his school, also went out, paid the same guy because they're looking for a big guy because, you know, the bigger the guy, the better they look when they beat them. They show up at the restaurant and they see the guy and they fight him, but the problem is he's a martial arts master. He has his own style from the north. And on top of that, he didn't know what the hell's going on, so these guys are just attacking him, and he doesn't know he's supposed to take a fall.
Eagle craw.
Eagle craw!
You use the first 3 fingers. That should be the eagle style.
And so he fights him, and he almost kills Wang Fei-hung's friend and grabs him in the throat so bad that he can't even talk anymore for a little while until he heals. Of course, this is bad because Chu Ying shows up and doesn't realize that the northerner was the one who did it and thinks that it was Wang Fei-hung who did it. That becomes a bit of a problem there. They get it resolved eventually, but we find out too that Master Shan's there because he's a guest of the rival school, and he's there to teach them more techniques and improve their kung fu, and also to help them out. The thing they set up is that Master Shan is all about honor and fairness, and he's there to meet other people who are of the like mind. You know, he wants people who give respect, thinks his friends are like that, so he, you know, gives them the benefit of the doubt. And then, of course, they're saying all this shit, talking shit about the other school, saying, oh, they disrespected us and they cheated and this and that. And so Master Shan's on their side at first, but he's a little bit skeptical. He wants to see everything for himself too.
So Wang Fei-hung's friend, douche number 1, Chu Ying's brother, I mean, he's trying to convince Wang Fei-hung, like, hey, you can go to the brothel and show off your kung fu and get laid for free, or, you know, get some girls, get some attention. And of course, Wang Fei-hung was kind of suspicious of it. And he's like saying, that's really not why we're kung fu artists in that sense. It's like,
But it's not why we're trying to learn kung fu, why we're students. And on top of that, when Wang Fei Hung's friend usually goes is when everyone else is training. So he's supposed to actually be training at the time that he's at the brothel.
So his skills are obviously not as polished as Wang Fei Hung. Wang Fei Hung is pretty disciplined, but adamant about, after, especially that northerner guy and his father talking, and it really convinces him that he needs to focus.
But actually, that was one of the funnier scenes, too. I forgot one scene was after they fight...